inside Japan's most chilling unsolved family murder. Imagine being 8 years old, counting down the hours until your birthday. You're excited about cake, presents, maybe balloons. A typhoon cancels school early, so suddenly you get an extra day at home. To a kid, that feels magical. Now imagine that same child is murdered in his own house a few hours later. Not only murdered, but burned alive alongside his entire family. And to this day, nobody knows exactly who did it. That's the part that messes with me the most. Because this wasn't some random abandoned shack in the middle of nowhere. This happened in Japan, one of the safest countries in the world. A quiet, residential neighborhood, normal family, normal life. And then, overnight, the entire KATO family was erased. What's even scarier is how organized this crime was. No fingerprints, no murder weapons, no witnesses, almost no evidence. It almost feels less like a crime of passion and more like an execution. And once you get deeper into this case, you start realizing something really unsettling. Somebody wanted this family dead badly enough to plan everything in advance. And maybe, just maybe, the wrong person survived. This case genuinely gave me chills while researching it. So today, let's talk about one of Japan's darkest unsolved mysteries. The KATO family murders. This happened in Toyoake City, Aichi Prefecture, in central Japan. The neighborhood was called Kutsukake. Quiet streets, family homes, farmland nearby. The kind of place where people know each other and kids walk home alone from school. Which is why the murders shocked the entire country. Now, before we even get into the crime itself, there's something important about Japanese society that people outside Japan sometimes don't fully understand. Japan has very low violent crime rates compared to a lot of countries. So when something this brutal happens, it hits differently. Because in places where violence is rare, people don't mentally prepare for it. There's this deep sense of security, routine, trust. And when that illusion breaks, it breaks hard. A lot of experts have talked about how some Japanese murder cases feel especially horrifying because they're often tied to years of emotional repression, hidden resentment, isolation, debt, shame, or humiliation quietly building under the surface. And this case? It feels exactly like that. The KATO family seemed normal from the outside. There was the father, Hiroto Kato, the mother, Toshio Kato, their teenage daughter, Rina, their teenage son, Yuki, and the youngest child, Shogo, plus their Shiba Inu dog, Jackie. And Jackie becomes weirdly important later, because that dog may have known exactly who the killer was. September 7th, 2004. A typhoon warning gets issued in Aichi Prefecture. Schools close early. 8-year-old Shogo Kato walks home excited because his birthday is only 2 days away. He's turning 9. And this detail destroys me emotionally, because you can literally imagine him thinking about cake and presents while walking home, completely unaware he has less than 48 hours left to live. On his way home, Shogo notices something strange. There's pink paint smeared vertically on the wall outside their property. At first, it sounds small, but investigators later wondered if it was some kind of marker, like someone had identified the house beforehand. And apparently, this wasn't the first creepy thing happening around the KATO home. Neighbors had reported suspicious men wandering around recently. Someone had tampered with the family car. someone deflated Rena's bicycle tires. And at one point, while the parents were away, someone actually tried opening the front door. Shogo had yelled at them to leave. That detail is terrifying because it means the family may have already been under surveillance. Like someone was testing the house, testing the routines, testing security. That's not impulsive behavior. That's preparation, which already tells you this probably wasn't random. The Katos got a Shiba Inu named Jackie, partly because they were nervous. They wanted a guard dog. And from what people said, Jackie barked aggressively whenever strangers approached. Now, fast forward to September 8th. The typhoon passes. The night is calm. Inside the house, the family spends the evening watching TV and preparing for Shogo's birthday. The father, Hiroto, isn't home. He's supposedly working overtime in Nagoya. At 9 p.m, he texts his wife saying he'll work through the night so he can take the next day off for Shogo's birthday. At 11 p.m, he calls again and asks Toshio to leave the spare key in its usual hiding spot. That was the last conversation they would ever have. And then, sometime around 4 a.m, neighbors hear screaming. Females screaming. People running around. Then, silence. About 25 minutes later, smoke starts pouring from the KATO house. The house is on fire. When firefighters finally enter the home after sunrise, they realize this wasn't an accidental fire. It was a massacre. The youngest child, Shogo, is found downstairs, burned severely. Investigators later determine he died from blunt force trauma to the head. His birthday was that day. That detail is impossible to forget. Upstairs, they find Yuki, also killed by a blow to the head. A blanket had been placed over his body. Then they find Toshio and Rina. And their murders were much more violent. They had been repeatedly stabbed. Deeply, brutally. The stab wounds were so forceful they broke ribs. That's rage. That feels personal. And what really creeps investigators out is the difference in violence between victims. The men and boys were struck once. The women were overkilled. People who study violent crimes often point out that overkill can reveal emotional intensity, hatred, jealousy, humiliation, resentment, which immediately made detectives question whether the women, especially Toshio, were the true targets. And then there's another horrifying discovery. All 4 victims had soot in their lungs, meaning they were still breathing when the fire started. I literally had to stop reading for a second there because that is so awful. Can you imagine the terror in that house during those final minutes? The killer, or killers, poured kerosene throughout the home and lit it on fire to destroy evidence. And somehow, they almost succeeded. No fingerprints. No weapons. No useful DNA. Nothing stolen, except the dog collar, which is so weird. Like, why the collar? This is the part that absolutely blew my mind. Remember Jackie, the guard dog? Neighbors said Jackie always barked at strangers. Always. But that night, nothing. No barking. No commotion from the dog, which means one of 2 things happened. Either Jackie recognized the intruder, or he was too terrified to react. Investigators leaned toward recognition because Jackie's collar had been removed. Somebody calmly approached the dog, unclipped the collar, and the dog allowed it. That's huge. Dogs are incredible at sensing danger, especially trained guard dogs. So detectives started thinking, What if the killer was someone Jackie already knew? And naturally, suspicion moved toward the father, Hiroto Kato. Now this is where the case gets really messy, because Hiroto had secrets. A lot of them. Co-workers later revealed he spent huge amounts of money at hostess clubs. For people unfamiliar with Japanese hostess culture, these are places where men basically pay to drink and talk with attractive women. And apparently Hiroto became emotionally obsessed with one particular Filipino hostess. Some reports say he spent up to 400,000 yen a month on her. Holy crap, that's an insane amount of money. People later claimed his marriage was strained. Toshio reportedly felt neglected. The older children had grown distant from him. And, this is one thing people miss about the case, sometimes family annihilation cases don't begin with hatred. Sometimes they begin with escapism. Someone becomes obsessed with a fantasy life. A new relationship, a new identity, freedom, reinvention. And suddenly their existing family starts feeling like an obstacle instead of a responsibility. That psychological shift is terrifying. Because outwardly, the person still looks normal. Meanwhile, internally, they've emotionally detached already. Now, did Hiroto actually kill his family? There's no proof. But there were suspicious things. Around the time of the murders, witnesses saw a car near the crime scene with plates from the area where Hiroto worked. And later, while the fire burned, another similar vehicle drove by. People immediately became suspicious. But Hiroto had an alibi. Co-workers said he was working. His brother called him at the office when the fire happened. So, officially, police never charged him. Still, public suspicion never disappeared. I understand why, to be honest with you. Because some of his behavior afterward felt emotionally distant. He stopped attending memorials. He refused media interviews. He avoided helping distribute flyers for the case. Now, to be fair, trauma affects everyone differently. Some people isolate themselves completely. But when an entire family is murdered, and the sole surviving member avoids public grieving, people notice that, especially in a case this horrific. After some time, things got even stranger. A man known only as T later claimed he knew who committed the murders. He said multiple perpetrators were involved, including Yakuza members. He even identified photos connected to the case and reportedly knew details that weren't public. According to him, the killers made a duplicate key and entered the house deliberately. This theory suggests the murders were a professional hit. And honestly, when you look at the precision of the crime, it kind of fits. The killers brought kerosene, possibly spare clothes. They left almost no evidence. They were in and out fast. That doesn't feel sloppy. It feels practiced. But eventually, police dismissed T's statements because his story kept changing. Still, one detective reportedly warned a journalist, "Don't dig too deep. You might get yourself killed." Like, excuse me? That sounds like something from a crime thriller, not real life. And apparently, investigators became fixated on one weird detail. Why September 9th? Why that date specifically? Some detectives believed the timing mattered, but nobody ever explained why. But do you know what really stays with me in this case? Not the brutality. It's the atmosphere. Everything about this case feels eerily quiet. No screaming neighbors rushing in. No dramatic chase. No CCTV. No confession. Just silence. A normal suburban family erased overnight. And then the world moved on. How? Do we just choose to forget this family? Also, I think people focus so much on the mystery that they forget the human side. Yuki was apparently athletic and popular. Rina loved volleyball and piano. Shogo wanted to become a police officer someday. That detail destroyed me emotionally. Because imagine wanting to grow up and protect people, and then becoming the victim of one of your country's most horrifying, unsolved crimes. That's awful. And the aunt, Amami. Wow. She never gave up. Every year she still honors them, still hands out flyers, still keeps their memories alive. That kind of grief changes a person forever. What makes the KATO family murders so haunting too isn't just the violence. It's the emptiness afterward. No answers. No closure. Just theories. Maybe it was a professional hit. Maybe it was personal revenge. Maybe it was connected to debt, affairs, organized crime, jealousy, or hidden enemies. Or maybe the truth is something even stranger that investigators never uncovered. But 4 people lost their lives in unimaginable fear. And one little boy never got to celebrate his 9th birthday. That part hits the hardest. Because behind all the theories and speculation, there was once a real family inside that house. A mother making birthday plans. Teenagers worrying about school and hobbies. A little boy excited for cake. A dog waiting by the door. And then one night, everything disappeared into smoke. To this day, the empty lot where the house once stood still exists. Locals remember hearing the children playing there. Now, there's nothing. Just silence. Cases like this are scarier than ghost stories to me. Because somewhere out there, the person who did this may have lived a completely normal life afterward.